Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into the always informative, always entertaining, The Boxing Authorities. Join me at the desk, as always, Luther Dupree Jr. My name is Claudio Relsano, and Smoking Jim, as we said last time, is still a little under the weather, but it looks like he'll be with us on our next show. Jim, we miss you. Not the same without you. It's like a missing tooth.
Stay away, Jim. We don't miss you that
Well,
much.
we don't miss the misinformation and
The Smokopedia.
the pitchforks and all that kind of stuff, but we miss you, Jim, and I look forward to having you back soon, brother. All right, Luth, the class of 2023 in the National Boxing Organization Hall of Fame. After I read all the names, Luther, I don't know if I've ever seen a class induction of as many, not stars, but mega stars at one time. And we're going to go over all of them, but real quick, Ray Mercer, Michael Nunn, Gabriel Ellis, Juan Manuel Marquez, Hector Camacho, Rafael Ruelas, Antonio Tarver, Iran Barkley, Roberto Duran, Ray Boo Boo Mancini, and Vinny Paz. I mean, that's a hell of a class, is it not?
I'm like, yeah, right. I mean, you could take 4 of them out and have
5 of them, 6 of them out, spread it out.
But I'm trying to figure out why they're putting so many
I know.
in at the same time.
And the thing about it is, it isn't like, it isn't like they retired similar to each other.
Right.
Ray retired a hell of a lot before Vinny, and Duran and all these guys.
Yeah, usually
So
try
why-
to keep it in time periods.
Right, exactly.
So maybe they don't have that waiting list. Is this in a new Hall of Fame they're starting?
No,
or-
it's been
It's
around. It's
They're
been
putting
around,
on
but
it?
man, you're going to run out of
because of
people.
the pandemic, maybe they didn't.
I guess. That's a good point, too. I didn't
Maybe
think about that.
that's why they're putting so many in.
That's
But
a hell of a
that's
class,
that's
boy.
a lot.
I mean, usually Hall of Fames, you're only allowed, the rules are
Yeah,
you
we're
only
gonna
have
put 5.
3.
Yeah, 3
like the Canastota, I believe you can vote for 5, but only 3 get in. It's very tough. But anyway, let's go over some names.
Are you going to this one, Claudia? Maybe. Vinny's
I'd
getting in?
love to. And Mancini,
Mancini as
is
well,
in there.
yeah.
It's in California, but April 23rd, I may have some games.
Oh,
That's
that's
just it.
right. That's baseball season. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to go. But and plus, you're the traveler. You go to all these games, boy. You're big time going to Steeler games and Atlanta boxing matches in Mexico.
I'd love to go to this one, but I don't think
And
I
you
can
don't have to
swing
sell
this
your
one.
watch like Jim
Right.
to do it.
Exactly.
Sometimes he comes with a watch. Sometimes he doesn't.
If he's at a bad week at the casino, you can tell.
That's
Just
right.
look at his arm.
That's right. We're going to go over a lot of these names, Luth, and they're all legendary. First of all, first thing that comes to mind, Ray Mercer.
Man, heart, power. You look at some of his fights. Tommy Morrison fight, the Lennox Lewis fight was a tough one. He's a guy I don't think gets enough credit. When you talk about that '90s era, he always gets left out. But he was a big player. He fought everybody. You knew what you were going to get with him.
And
Underrated chin as well.
Very underrated chin. And we last show we had a mailbag question about David Tua and him not winning the belt in his era.
Yeah.
Well, Ray Mercer is another one of those guys
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
talk about guys who didn't win the belt who were big names. David Tua, Jerry Cooney, and you got to throw Ray Mercer in
Ray Mercer,
there.
exactly.
Okay. And the 3 things I think of are that he didn't win a major belt. The Tommy Morrison fight was
Man, that was back.
they
and forth.
said, right, it was back and forth till he caught him. Remember with Cooney, they said that the Cooney-Norton fight was 4 punches away from death because he was just and Mercer against Morrison, he caught him with some shots.
Yeah.
That Tommy's arms, just weren't there.
The
So
referee let him get a couple extra
Yeah,
ones.
exactly.
I'm like, where's the ref? He's dead. He's asleep.
Yeah. Now, another thing, though, I think about with Ray, the third thing, is when he fought Larry Holmes on USA. And he was predicted to win that fight. He was the favorite in that fight because Ray was climbing up and Holmes was obviously on the way down. And Holmes just had one more big-time fight in him at least. And he was talking to the camera, if you remember. He's throwing jabs, and he's talking to the camera. And Holmes is just a special guy. But maybe styles make fights, and Holmes dominated that fight. But
I was
Ray
shocked,
Mercer,
yeah.
I was too. But Ray Mercer certainly deserving, and I'm glad his name still carries a lot of weight.
Now that he's getting in the Hall of Fame, his name can be brought up a little more.
Right.
Because he's like a forgotten heavyweight from that '90s era. You talk about the '90s,
Yeah.
Ray Mercer's name never comes up.
Now, do you think he wins a belt today?
He'd be a nice challenger. I'm not sure he wins a belt today. No,
I
I
agree
gotta
with
say no.
Yeah, it'd be a nice challenge. Somebody who you don't want to play with.
He could
You
pull
better
some
be on your
upsets,
game.
but
Right.
I don't think he would get a belt. No.
Right. Michael, what's one of the best nicknames ever? Michael, second to none. Great nickname. Your thoughts on Michael Nunn?
Listen, Michael Nunn was just outstanding. Long jab. I thought he could have done better. He ran into some trouble outside the ring. And I read a couple, like last year, that he was still trying to come back and fight because he lost all that time. Unfortunately, he was incarcerated. But very underrated. I thought he could have fought in any era. You know, with his size, his length, his speed. Incredible fighter.
Could hit.
And could hit as
you
well.
Said, long jab.
Long jab.
He's got to be in his 50s now, though, right?
I think he's in his 40s. I think he's in his late 40s.
Late,
Late
yeah.
40s. Because he was talking about coming back, getting a couple more fights in.
Just to make a few bucks.
Just to make a few bucks.
Hopefully, if they do it, people are going to want to see Michael Nunn. They don't expect him to fight Charlo or any of the big boys. You know, if you want to fight the right guys, make a few bucks.
And
And
these
then
exhibitions, I'd like to see him fight.
Yeah,
Maybe an
yeah.
exhibition. But he was talking about coming back, regular fight, fighting one of these younger guys.
yeah.
So.
But again,
But yeah,
unfortunately, he
I
had
love
some
some Michael Nunn.
problems at the end, outside. But in the ring, man, he was
In the ring, he was
special.
tough.
Does he remind you at all physically, as far as the size, like of a Tommy Hearns? Because Tommy Hearns had that long jab, and he weighed more than he did as a middleweight. I mean, he could fill out that frame more. So what I'm asking you is, could he have filled out that frame a little bit more and maybe gone up a little higher?
I think he probably could have. Yeah, he definitely could have put a couple more pounds on that frame. But the size that he was made him a matchup nightmare for that weight division.
Well put. Gabe Ruelas, he had some nice fights, and him and I think Rafael, is that his brother?
I'm not sure.
But some nice names. They had some nice fights as well. I know a guy you're a fan of, Juan Manuel Marquez. First thing when I think of when you think Pacquiao.
And I think he was robbed in a couple of those fights. But he also put Manny Pacquiao to sleep.
Yeah,
a couple of those fights, man. He was tremendous. He wasn't much of a challenge for Floyd,
Right.
but
Who was?
Yeah, who was? But him and Pacquiao had some legendary fights. Great fighter, and I'm glad he's getting in this class as well, man. This Hall of Fame is amazing. If I had a chance, I would definitely go.
No question.
Because anywhere you go, all these guys are legends.
Yep. Now, I always ask you about Mercer. Would he win today? We've asked you about we always get asked about heavyweights. Would Marquez be a champion today?
What weight class are you talking about? What weight class would you put him in today?
What was his best weight class, would you say? Because he had some big fights in all the weight classes. And his power kind of crept up a little bit. But again, against Pacquiao.
Well, he was the first one to put Pacquiao to sleep.
To sleep, yeah.
Would you say 135, 135?
135, 140. Let's go 135.
135, you're talking about the Devin Haney's, the Tank
that's what I'm
Davises.
saying, yeah.
I think he could get a belt. I definitely think he could get a belt. Who else is in that division? Frank Martins.
Yeah, he beats Martin.
Yeah, he beats
I think
Martin,
the tough one
Ryan
would be.
Garcia.
How about Lomachenko?
Lomachenko would be a good fight, but I think he could get Lomachenko.
Yeah.
I do.
And the thing about Marquez, he had heart. He was
did.
aggressive. He was
yeah.
tough, and you had to really be on
hurt
your
him
game
to beat him.
To beat him.
I think Tank Davis would be a challenge for him. Just Tank Davis at 135. I mean, they're talking about a guy who knocks out heavyweights in sparring.
Right. Even though he's
a
on
challenge
the
for
way
everyone.
down, according to our friend Smoking Jim Frazier.
Meanwhile, they got the biggest fight
That's
of the
right.
year
Yep.
so far.
Yep, and we're going to get to that for sure. Hector Macho Camacho.
Hector Macho Camacho, man. Exciting, could move in there, was so flashy. Just an amazing fighter. I love watching him in there. He also had the fight against Julio Cesar Chavez. But I loved him. I'm glad he's getting the recognition, man. Just a true legend of the game, man. He brought the excitement, the flair, and that Sugar Ray Leonard type of energy.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
He's a name that still gets talked about, which
Yeah.
I like, and he deserves it.
Because he had that personality.
He had the personality, but not only vocally, but he had the look.
He had the
yes,
look. Oh,
but he
yeah.
also fought that way.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yes, he came in with the hat and all that, and he had the personality, and he could sell a fight.
Oh, he could sell it.
He could sell it. Like him and Vinny, man. But Vinny loved him. You know, so he was one of those guys who get under your skin, but then you end
But
up hugging him.
you couldn't not love him.
Yeah,
You couldn't
but
not love that guy.
He was a guy who. Okay, let's talk about him today. I think that he would be hell for anybody. I think he can win a belt today.
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I mean, he, again, flashy, had power. He had it all, man. The look, the talk, and him in the social media age.
Oh,
we
my
think
God.
Jake Paul is something.
Oh, please.
Man, Hector Camacho
Please.
would be 1 million pay-per-views.
Besides Chavez fight, name me a fight that he really got stuck.
Yeah, you really can. I can't think of it.
I can't.
And
He
think
fought
of
some
it.
bangers.
Yeah.
Well, now, when he fought Boom Boom on Boom Boom's comeback, okay, I thought Boom Boom won that fight. And there was a good story in Ray Boom Mancini's book, The Good Son, about that fight. And you'll see, why he lost. But I'm pitching that book. But Ray came back from a long layoff and somehow, against a slick boxer like Camacho, won that fight. Didn't win the fight, but he won the fight. But outside of those two fights, he dominated. I mean, Vinny, hit him obviously too. But Camacho, what do you always say? Major reset.
Yeah, major reset.
And
He can make you
held
look
a
bad.
fight.
Yeah.
And not just in one weight class. And he never had a tremendous amount of power, but he could hit you. Vinny said he could
had
hit.
surprising power, yeah.
But he can move in all weight
And
classes.
he would get you at different angles because he could
Different
move.
angles.
Yeah,
Right.
He was special. He was special in
But
there.
you hit it on the head with social media. Can you imagine
Oh, my
with
goodness.
all the cameras on him? Now, back then, you just had the 3 networks and that was it. But now
He was a big name back then, and now
huge
with
name.
cameras everywhere
Huge
and all that.
And he would really get under your skin. He's one of those guys you either loved him or didn't like him, but he sold tickets because if you loved him, you want to see him fight and win.
didn't,
If
you
you
wanna see
didn't
him
like
get
him,
knocked out.
exactly.
Exactly.
But he's very well deserving. Antonio Tarver.
Man,
Thoughts?
Antonio Tarver. I didn't think much of him. I thought Roy Jones was going to go through him, but those fights against Roy pretty much made his career. Very underrated fighter. First one to really knock out and really punish Roy
Cold.
Jones cold. I mean, surprising power. He's one of those guys I don't think gets enough credit. But he's a solid fighter. I'm glad he's getting in. He had a couple nice movie roles, and he's still out in the media talking. I don't like some of his takes on some of the newer boxers, but he really gets on the newer boxers. But
Yeah.
he definitely deserves to be there, man.
You know what? I think all guys do that. I know I do that in baseball, but
Some guys take it a little too
They
far.
take it a little too far.
But
he's still involved in. First of all,
Yeah.
he was some roles in Rocky V. I think it was.
I think was he in one of the Creeds as well? I
Was he?
think.
Okay. And now Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones Jr., Paulie Malignaggi, and oh my God, one other fighter.
Oh, I thought it was just those 3. No, they added someone.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can see him. Who's the guy
Roy Jones, Tarver.
that's bothering me?
Paulie.
But he's a named fighter.
Okay.
As soon as I said his name, you know he is. But anyway, they've teamed up and.
Don't they do something with Pro Box?
Pro
or something?
Box,
Pro
yeah.
Box,
So he's announcing, so he's still in the game. He's doing well, which I'm glad. I ran the Blade Barkley.
Another underrated fighter, man. Legendary fights. Didn't he had to fight with legendary fighter, man. I ran.
I think
Barkley.
me and you were getting CT from Jim. I know
Yeah,
you're talking about.
right. But
Well,
I
Durant,
forget-
he fought,
He fought
Durant.
Durant, but there was one legendary fight that was it Hagler? No, it wasn't Hagler. But I ran Barkley, another guy.
We'll look that up.
Again, doesn't get a lot of credit. He's one of those forgotten boxers, so I'm glad he's getting in his Hall of Fame. So we won't be out here forgetting about his tough fights. We can start looking at it, and the youth can see that this guy was something. He has some exciting fights. That was an exciting weight division as well.
Sure was.
And
And-
Barkley's right in the mix.
You can't call any of those guys what? Ducks.
Everybody fought everyone. That word wasn't even invented back
right.
then. Everybody had to fight everybody. The money wasn't as big, and I think those guys weren't afraid to take a loss. Now this mythical O, most guys are going to retire with a loss. There's only one Floyd Mayweather, 50-0. One, Calzaghe, who goes undefeated. But
Another
most
guy?
people, pardon me?
One more guy, don't forget.
Oh, of course, Rocky Marciano, of course, the legend, yeah. But I mean,
Nah,
but I think there's a couple others that were missing as well.
Hey, if
but
Sugar Ray, Muhammad Ali, and
those
all
guys
those
can
guys,
take a
if they can
loss.
come back from a loss, Roberto Duran, then you can come back from a loss.
exactly.
You're
So I
exactly
wish
right.
I wish that would stop. I was so proud of Frank Martin fighting Rivera last year or earlier this year.
Right.
You know, you take a loss, you just come back. You know, I don't like all the guys, you take a loss, you got to end up in the hospital. Oh, my shoulder was hurting, you know. But like you said, Iran Barkley was one of that age. All those guys fought everybody. Great, tremendous era.
You know, it's good to see whenever I went to Canastota Boxing Hall of Fame and Barkley was there. Everybody's crazy about him. They stood. I like watching fans.
How was his size then, Barkley?
At the hall when he was at the Hall of Fame. He looked good. Wasn't like, so, oh, damn, he gained all kind of weight. No, he looked good.
Okay.
I mean, he's got some health issues and all that kind of stuff, I
right.
guess. But he was good, and the thing I like about it is fans flocked to him. And he was great signing autographs with everybody, taking pictures.
I love to see
And
it.
I like seeing that because they're not forgotten.
Right.
And nor should they be.
Right. Because I know that's one thing. I was listening to Shaq. He said one thing that he misses is the crowd cheering. So he goes to DJ on a regular basis, so he can have people cheering while he's DJing.
It's not for the money?
It's not for the money.
Okay.
He doesn't need the money.
No,
he just
that's
wants
for
that.
sure.
But
That's for sure.
But you figure that's something that these guys are used to for years and years, and then once it's gone, it's gone.
And one thing I'm going to say about boxing fans, loyal.
Yes.
Whenever I've been to a boxing event where a lot of legends are, man, they're so respectful. They want to take pictures, and they'll tell stories. Oh, man, I remember when you fought this guy. It meant so much to me. And those boxers, as they should, really appreciate it. And I love seeing that.
Yeah, you talk about the story with the moment you and Buster had.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
you all had that shared experience. So
That's right. Yep. All right, well, when we come back, we got 3 more legends from the National Boxing Hall of Fame when we come back to the boxing authorities. Welcome back to the boxing authorities. The fight with Barkley, he fought Hearns a couple times. He fought Duran. Michael Lajide, who was tough. He fought everybody.
You said he fought Michael Nunn as well, right? Did you say Michael?
I don't know if he fought Michael.
Okay.
But if you look at his ledger, he fought, and again, Luther's always, and he's right, critical about these guys. He didn't just fight one legend. He didn't just
fought
fight
all of them.
two. He fought them all, and some of them he fought 2-3 times. Now the other one was
Who, Glenn?
the one that's with Malnaji and Jones is
Not Glenn Johnson.
No, I just told you his name. I forgot what the hell.
Dang, I forgot. Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto. So it's Cotto, Malnaji, Jones, and Tarver got the pro box thing. Man, I think Jim's rubbing off on us.
Right.
Next week it's just going to be Luther here by himself. And then there was
He
one.
left, but the CTE
I'm
still here,
telling
just
you.
passed
Yeah.
around.
Whew. All right. 3 more legends that were inducted. Roberto Duran. I mean,
Hands of stone. What can you say? Movies made about him, man. Great career. Fought everybody. Hearns, Hagler, Leonard. Was just a monster out there. Very, very underrated, man. Only thing about him, sometimes he would, balloon up and wait and come back.
Yeah, he'd like.
But only guy who, stopped Sugar Ray with that eye.
Yeah.
So I mean, very, very, very solid class. What can you say about Roberto, man? He's just amazing.
Legend. He fought everybody. I'll ask you the same question. I know what you're going to say, though. He wins a belt today in any of the weight classes, including super middle that he fought towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his career.
Yeah, I think he can. I mean, with the power, his chin. Traditionally, he had a great chin.
Vinny said that second fight, and I remember too, was early in the fight. Vinny hit him with a shot. It was clean, flush, and Duran didn't budge. And Vinny could hit. And Vinny said, "Oh my gosh, I could have knocked a tree down with it." But Duran didn't blink. And Duran was in his 43, 44 years old at the time. But how many guys can we sit here and say that they would have won the belts today in any of the weight classes in which he participated in?
Yeah, he's one of the few. I think he definitely wins a class. I mean, a belt in any weight class.
And would you say not only did he have it physically, Luther, but he also had it mentally? I know about the no mas. Forget about that.
Yeah, but you got to take that out because that was so unlike him.
Yeah.
Because usually he would die on his, he would go out on his shield.
I give Sugar Ray more credit in that fight than because the way he did it than upset at Duran. But if you watch him against a guy named Ken Buchanan in the lighter weights, Roberto Duran looked like he was just like a monster. And he just went at it, and Buchanan was tough. And I believe they fought Buchanan in the UK. So it wasn't just physical with Duran, who could hands of stone, he could hit, and he had a chin. But also, he wanted it. He wanted it. Okay, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, one of the
I'll
most
let
popular.
you go first. I'll let you go first. That's your guy.
One of the most popular guys ever. I've been in a company, friends with Ray. I've seen him one time. We were at this casino opening in Youngstown, and his wife said, "It's going to take." He said, "It's going to take an hour to get from one room to the end of the room." I said, "It's only 100 yards." He says, "No," and it took over an hour. Ray's unbelievable with everybody. Went on to have a very successful movie and producing career.
He's still announcing right now.
Announcing,
Yeah.
does all that stuff, but. In the fights, he said one time in an interview with legendary Pittsburgh sports guy Sam Nover, he said, "My career, I wasn't in it for the long haul. I wanted to make a short score, and he did. His classic fights were Bramble, Kim, of course, and then Frias when he won the belt, and that was the whole thing. He wanted to win the belt for his title, for his dad, and he certainly did. But man, now I think he's a guy who could have boxed a little bit more, but he said the hell with it. He went in there and he'd give 3 and he'd give you 2.
Right.
And he still looks great, still doing well. But your thoughts on Ray Boom?
Hey, you said it all, man. He a true legend, like you said. He could box, but he chose to go in there brawl sometimes, and just a legend, man. Impressive. He's still out there now. I heard him on a match a couple weeks ago. Still sharp, still calls it.
Yeah.
Still will call these guys out. And he's just a pleasure to hear, man. He's a true legend of the game.
He is. He's a great guy. I took him home one day from the Italian Hall of Fame banquet, right? Well, there was some road blockings, this and that, and he had to get back to the hotel because he had some stuff to do. So I get on this side of the river, and there's the hotel he was staying at. I said, "Ray, I sure as hell hope you can swim because I don't think I can get across that bridge." I thought he was going to hit me, but he's a great guy and very well deserving of this Hall of Fame. And before we go with our last guy, can you imagine if you're a boxing fan? I mean, all these guys, I'm telling you, not to beat a dead horse, but it's a hell of a Hall of Fame.
I don't
know of another class.
Exactly. I don't know if there's
in
never
any
been.
sport. I remember years ago when the NFL Hall of Fame, I'm almost positive OJ and Namath went in the same time. That's big time. But it wasn't OJ, Namath, Staubach, Bradshaw, Swan, Franco. You know what I'm trying to say?
This class might be the greatest class
Oh, my
ever.
God. Dream team. Dream team. And finally, Vinny Paz, 50 wins, 5-time world champion, deserves to be in the Canastota Hall of Fame as well. But this is, I believe, Vinny's 10th, 11th, or 12th Hall of Fame, and very well deserving. Never took a round off, like Boom Boom, never took a round off, fought anybody who was available. Your thoughts on Vinny?
Hey, like you said, man, very underrated. We're talking about a guy who was in a car accident.
Right.
The movie was made to bleed for this.
Right, that's right.
They didn't think he could walk again. He not only did he walk, he came back, fought again, fought Roy Jones, and fought him well. Just a true legend, man. I don't think he gets enough credit. We got to get him in the Hall of Fame. This is great, but we got to get him in the other Hall of Fames, man, because you talk about perseverance. People are saying you can't walk again. Your career is over. You're on a bid. Your promoters walk away from you. Everybody leaves you.
Right, that's
but
right.
you have it in your heart. You're
Not
sitting
Jimmy
there-
Birchfield, but the other
Right,
two.
the other ones.
Right.
But you're in your room, training with the brace on your neck.
Right.
Man, put some respect on his name. Vinny is one of the best ever, man. Not only would he win a fight, he'd go down and win money at the casino as well.
He would drive me nuts. But he won a nice chunk after the Jones fight
Right.
at the casino. But yeah, and you talk about being great with your fans. Vinny was always great with his fans, and I mean always. And that's how after his accident, I just wrote him a letter, and that was it. I did not expect it, and he wrote me a letter back. And I gave me his phone number. Then I called him, and I sent him an autographed bat years ago, and I put on there, fan, friend, family, and that's how the relationship developed. But you hit it on the head. Here's a guy who was paralyzed after he won the belt off of Gilbert Delay. I believe it was the middleweight, I believe. But anyway, or junior middleweight. And then a couple weeks later, he gets in a car accident. And then, like you said, he had the halo. I know you fans have seen it, but go on the internet. And the reason for this halo is so you don't move. He's lifting weights, and he got bigger and stronger, and he was able to fight at his own weight. And his first comeback fight, and I know you'll appreciate this, was against a guy named Luis Santana, who was a future champion. He didn't just fight some guy who was
No, he didn't fight an Uber
17 and 3.
He didn't fight a guy like the Richard Torres is fighting
No,
these guys. He
no.
fought a real guy.
And then Vinny had a problem, and it's in the movie. He had a problem finding sparring partners because nobody wanted to hit him. He said, "No, you better hit me," But well deserved.
Yeah.
And again, this is just an unbelievable Hall of Fame, and go to it. If I didn't have games, I would definitely go to it for sure. But anyway, okay. Our other popular segment, the Boxing Authorities News. I was wrong. I said that the Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight was not going to happen. And there was some bumps in the road. But they are going to fight for sure.
We don't know. It's the pull-out king, Ryan Garcia.
Luther wants to see them in the ring.
Until I see them in the ring, I'm not sure. They better have another 135-pounder or 140-pounder just in case Ryan, has another incident. Let's say that.
An incident's a kind way to put it. But they're fighting in Las Vegas because Luther still wasn't sure. But he said they still don't have a venue yet. Well, now they have a venue.
And they have a date.
They have a date. The 23rd, I believe
so,
was
yeah.
April. Okay. We'll talk about it more in detail. But I thought, and there was some obstacles, obviously. I thought
I don't think De La Hoya wanted this fight for Ryan Garcia. I really don't. Because every time we get close, nobody's talked to me. He put out a tweet. We still have to work out some things. It seemed like he was trying to hold it up.
Is that because of lack of confidence?
I believe it was a lack of confidence.
I'm with you.
He didn't want him to take a bad loss. Tank Davis is a challenge for anyone, particularly Ryan Garcia. We've seen him drop by Luke Campbell. We know he keeps his chin way high
That's
in
the
the
thing
air,
that sticks in
and he's
my
very flat-footed.
Right.
So
now,
those
if
are
he
three
moved,
things.
if he was a mover,
It would be different.
it'd be different. But
Because he has the reach advantage. He has
Yeah.
the size of, really, he's the size of a 147-pounder.
Right.
The height-wise.
height-wise, right.
So
But
we'll see.
what do they say in boxing? Styles make fights. I think Tank is going to have that mentality and go in. But what's Luther say every time we talk about
Ryan
Garcia
Garcia.
keeps his
Hit
chin
way up.
went up, and instead of tucked. I think Davis, yes, he's gifted physically, but he's a very smart fighter. I think he's going to go to the body. Go to the body, what happens? Head comes down, he's going to catch him. I think.
But I think those life-threatening uppercuts.
Oh, man.
that
And that's
Tank Davis
perfect for a guy with that
keeps
head
his
like
head
that.
up.
Yeah. And okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that Garcia could be a mover?
I don't think it's in his game. I've seen him as an amateur. I've seen him as he's never been a mover. He's
never
always been
fought
flat-footed.
Tank Davis either.
Right. We'll see. I think it would be a bad time to try to change your style against a Tank Davis.
Well-
try to run and you're not used to it. No, I think he's going to try to do it, try to catch it with that left hand. Because we have seen Tank Davis hit. We haven't seen him go down or get hurt. It looks like he has a great chin, but Ryan Garcia has a quick, fast left hook.
I think Davis is going to go in right off the bat and try to get him out within 5.
I think Davis is traditionally a slow starter.
Right.
And I think he's still going to start off slow just to feel Ryan's power, see where he's coming from, and then 6, 7, turn it up, and I think get him out of there by the 9th.
I know what you're going to say because I said this. I've changed my opinion on Canelo as far as a slow start, where I'm going to, and Luther says, but it's still a slow start, and you're 1,000% right. Slow start's a slow start. But I think Canelo, he tries to read a guy, but you don't want to study. Like I tell my hitters, study the pitcher before you go into the box. See
So
where his arm
you don't
slot
want to
is.
take a pitch. You don't want to take a pitch.
Oh, hell with that. No, go in there, hack away.
You don't want to get behind or counter. If you see you can hit it, take a hack at it.
And you know what? And that's a good analogy. In baseball, which the coaching's horrendous, they tell you to go in there and take the first pitch. Okay, the first pitch is a strike. The opposing team knows it, okay, and the pitching coach tells the pitcher your best pitch is what? Strike 1. Now the hitter is in a hole. Now he's defensive. Then the second pitch is a 59-foot curveball. They swing at it. Now you're in a hole 2. In boxing, you cannot, in my opinion, I still don't like, unless you're a guy like a Tyson who can knock you out in the first round or the 12th round, or a big banger type guy. I would like to see Davis in this fight because if Garcia gets a lead, he may start to run and duck and hold.
That's not his game.
It better be. It better be.
He's going toe to toe.
Well, then he's going to lose.
I
And
believe
if
he's
you're a
gonna
straight,
lose
what would you tell Ryan Garcia? right now? What's our game plan?
I'm not going to try to make a flat-footed fighter all of a sudden a boxer mover. He's flat-footed. He has slow feet.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, again, to use these guys as an analogy.
Try to catch him with that left hook is what he's going to try to do.
A guy like Marciano, he was not a mover.
Right.
Now, he was harder to hit than people give him credit for because he was down here.
Okay.
And he didn't take the beating they made it sound like.
he-
But anyway, but he could hit.
He had a great chin.
He could get away with it because
right.
he had that punch. Mike
And a
Tyson.
chin. And a chin.
Yeah, and a chin. Mike Tyson against the Buster Douglas. That 11th round, he caught Buster with a shot. But Garcia doesn't have that kind of ability. He's going to, if I were him, I would get, Tank, here's what I would do. Garcia's team, move, because Tank can catch you.
You're going to turn him into a
Yes. Get an early lead, and then you know what I do is what Oscar did against.
Have you seen Ryan Garcia ever fight off the back foot?
No. But you better do something, okay, because you're going to get stuck. Who was the fight that Oscar got, they dogged him about when he was winning the fight? Was it Floyd? No, they said he was running, which he kind of was. Who was that against? Not Trinidad.
No, was it Trinidad? It might have been Trinidad. Was it Mosley?
No, he had a big lead.
Maybe it was. Well,
he had a big lead and he got out of the way. There's moving like Sugar Ray and there's running. But if I were Garcia, the goal is to win the fight. Ugly, not ugly, win the fight. I would stick and move. Don't stand there. Train him now. He's an athlete. He's gifted. Hit him and get the hell out of the way, because if Tank catches him, like Luther says a ton of times, with that head up like that and that life-threatening uppercut, you're going to be in trouble. Get an early lead and don't worry about the booze, but run. Yeah, I'm serious. You're going to get criticized, but the goal is
the only chance. I just see, try to catch him with that left hook.
And now, if you were Tank, would you say go in and blast him out of the water as soon as possible?
I'd let him try to get some confidence, because Ryan Garcia has made mistakes in fights.
Get who confidence?
Ryan Garcia. Just get in there, see what he's working with. Tank, I think, is going to start off slow. I don't think he's going to go in there and try to take him out.
What would you do? That's my question. I know what you're right, but if you were his trainer, I'm telling you what I tell Garcia: go in there, win the first 4 or 5 rounds since Tank starts slow. Win the first 4 or 5 rounds, 6 rounds, and then get the hell out of there. I mean, go from corner to corner and run. I know that sounds bad, but the goal is to win.
But since Tank is slow, I think they're going to tell him to start fast.
Who?
Garcia.
Right.
Start fast.
Right. Exactly.
And try to get him out of there.
I wouldn't say get him out of there. He ain't going to get him out of there.
No, I don't think so either. But
I'll point him. Get the rounds in the bank. Now, but if I was Tank Davis's people, I say, don't slow start. Don't study him in the game. Study him now in training. Go in there and get him out of the water.
That's Tank's style, I think, right now. He studies these guys, and he sees your mistakes, and then he capitalizes on it.
You don't think it'll be he'll turn it up too late?
No. He is. We've seen Ryan Garcia.
And you're okay with Davis doing that?
I don't like it. I don't like giving away rounds and studying the guy that early. I don't like it, but I think that's going to be his game plan. Let me see what he got. As we saw even against Mario Barrios, he was down. Floyd Mayweather had to say, hey, you're down on these cards.
That's right.
I need you to turn. I believe in you. And then he turned it up and knocked out Barrios. Hopefully it's not the same thing, but I think Tank is a guy who's just traditionally a slow starter.
Who was it in the corner that you were upset and he said, "You're losing, you got to knock him out"? But all fight long, he didn't tell him anything. He said, "You're losing, you got to knock him out."
Bomac.
It
was Bomac.
That's right.
Luther was Terrence Crawford's trainer.
Right.
And also, I think Maurice Hooker's trainer.
Right.
Didn't tell him anything. And then, you're down. You got to go for the knockout. And then he got his own fighter knocked out. Didn't say anything. Bud Crawford was doing all the training in there. I'm like, what are you paying this guy for?
And no offense, please, no offense to MMA fighters, none whatsoever. But Luther and I just talked about the chess match and the not just the physicality, but the mental aspect. That's why boxing, what do they call it?
Sweet science.
Sweet science, man, sweet science. Okay, Sebastian Fundora, who again, I'm with Luther, to your credit. I don't think he should have left Top Rank. He's 20 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 13 knockouts. This will be fighting a tough, in my opinion, Brian Mendoza, 21-2 with 15 knockouts. They're fighting, I believe, April 8th. The winner is supposed to, at least there's talks, fight Jamal Charlo. Luther.
Of course, I got Fundora winning this fight.
Easy or tough?
That'll be a tougher fight because no fight for Fandor is easy because he doesn't use his length. He's the tallest fighter ever at 154. He probably has the
6'6".
longest reach ever
6'6".
at 154, but he likes to fight in close. And when you fight in close, you can get caught. An inside fighter can catch him. Lubin dropped him.
Yeah.
With that. Lubin took some punishment. His face looked very bad afterwards, but he did show some chinks in Fandor's armor. I think Fandor wins a tough one. This guy he's fighting is a tough competitor, but I don't think he lasts the full time against Fandor. But Fandor is all wrong for Charlo. His defense isn't good. He takes way too many clean punches, and I don't think he uses his length and size enough.
No, and
the body work to Fandor. There's not much meat on them bones.
Exactly. I was just going to say. Now, what drives me nuts about anybody today fighting Tyson Fury is he's wide as this table, Luther.
Yeah. Everybody's going for headshots.
Everybody goes headshot.
And
now,
he can move his head.
We talked about David Tua. Tua would have hit to the body.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Tyson would have hit to the body.
Those smaller guys, that's right in front. You go right to the body, bring them down.
Bring him down.
And, Wilder had a good game plan the third fight when he was going to the body. Fury didn't like those body shots.
No.
But then,
No.
Once Wilder got knocked down, he reverted back to going straight for headshots. But that body work was hurting Fury.
Who was it that gave De La Hoya? Was it Bernard?
Bernard hit him with a body shot.
Oh, my God. I mean, I've seen more people, and I think you agree with me, wince and go down and be in pain after a body shot than a shot to the head.
Yeah, the body just takes it all out of you.
Oh, man.
And
everything.
just like we saw with Caleb Plant against Anthony Durrell. He hit him with the body shot,
right.
and he came up with the left hook to the
nice.
head, took him out.
Fandor, I'm really starting to go with Luther. Was he a top rank, not invention, but a, how did you word it?
Hype job.
Hype job. Now, if he beats
He
Charlo.
was at PBC. He was at PBC.
Oh, he wasn't.
He was at PBC his whole career. Yeah.
Well, who's the guy that left top rank?
Edgar Berlanga.
Oh, Berlanga. I'm sorry. My fault. Thank you, Luther. Okay. So I think that I'm with you 1,000%. You go to the body against him. That's why I wouldn't move up too much. He has the frame to do it.
I can't believe he's still making 154. 6'7",
He looks
6'6".
sick. I know, but is that weight is that punch
He's
gonna?
going to have
happen?
to move up. I can't see him holding on this weight.
People
that
talk
much
about will your chin go up, but will the body shot resistance go up as well?
True. We haven't really seen anybody really go to the body against Fandor.
This fight's going to be interesting. I got Fandora as well, but Mendoza is going to be tough. I mean, he throws a lot of punches. He's going to be easy to hit because he didn't move, but he's going to throw a lot of punches.
Yeah.
And he's a
It'll
pro.
be an exciting fight, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Fandor, those long shots are going to get to him. Because like you said, Mendoza, he takes some hits. He's not the hardest one to hit.
No. Do you think that Fandora, if you were his team, what's his best weight class?
I've only seen him at 154, but I think he could get up to 168.
Ooh.
I think he can.
He can, but is that? Of course, it's not safe for him to stay at 154.
I don't know how much longer he can stay at 154 because
He's
he
one of
looks
those-
really thin.
Yeah.
I think 168.
Now,
might
see,
be-
when Hearns was lower than super middle and light heavy, he was good, and he didn't look like he was sick.
True,
It's just one
true.
of those things.
But you're 6'6". I mean, that's
Yeah.
heavyweight. That's
Yeah.
heavyweight.
That's Jerry
height.
Cooney's
Right.
6'6". All right. Well, when we come back, our popular segment, the boxing mailbag. So come on back to the boxing authorities. Got the glasses on. You know what's next.
Mailbag time. Let's
Mailbag
go.
time. We'll continue to send your great comments and questions to boxingmailbag@yahoo.com or at my website at claudiorosano.com. You guys are a huge part of the show, and we appreciate you very much. Okay, Sandra from Pittsburgh, great question here. There are movies made about many boxers. Luther mentioned earlier about Vinny. In April, there's one coming about George Foreman. And of course, there's one about Vinny Paz. There's one about Vinny Paz. Name your favorite boxing movie and what fighter today will make a great subject for a boxing movie. Luther.
Man, Ali had so many, but I do love the Will Smith version of Ali. I think that was great. Bleed for This was also a great one. Today, I would love to see one. Tyson's had some movies. I don't think they've been all that great. I'd like for him to get a good one. But Deontay Wilder, I don't think his story's told enough.
I'm with you.
This guy was delivering beer and then all of a sudden his daughter gets sick. He wants to start, making money to save his daughter's life. Trains, starts late in boxing, wins a bronze medal, knocks out 42 guys, becomes the heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
I mean, that's a great story, man. I want to see the Deontay Wilder story. Got a statue delivered. You come from delivering beer to, becoming a world champion. Make that story. That's what I want to see.
That's a good question. That's a great question.
That
I'm
is
trying
good.
to think. Tyson Fury's had some ups and downs. You hit the word story. I like Wilder's story, like you said about his kids.
One more. Caleb Plant has a great story.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
He lost a daughter. His mom was killed by the police.
That's right.
Through all that, he still went and won a championship belt. I mean, he's made a name for himself. So
Right.
I think that'd be a great story.
Some great movies. Stallone did one of Boom Boom Mancini years ago, which was a good one, and they could even do an even bigger one. But Buster Douglas.
Ooh.
Buster
I knew you were gonna
was
say Buster.
Buster again. He was. I believe I'm almost positive he worked for a rug company, and the ups and downs of his career and the negativity that was thrown his way for him to pull off. Arguably the biggest upset in boxing
greatest
history.
upset.
Well, I'm sorry,
in
sports I'm talking about.
Maybe in
Arguably
sports
the greatest in
history.
sports, right. The three that come to mind were Buster, Joe Namath and the Jets, and Jim Valvano, NC State in 1983.
Oh,
30 years.
against Georgetown, yeah.
33 years ago. That was 33. No, 40 years ago for Valvano
40.
and NC State. Wow. But I love to see Buster. I'm with Luther, too. Mike Tyson would be a hell of a movie. And they ruined the Marciano movies. They were all right, not that good. Tyson, he had a very interesting life. So do it right. And another one, which I know you'll agree with, is Makabu. I think they
gosh.
should have one of my boy Makabu. Okay. All right. Sandra again. What would it take for a major, we talked about this, what would it take for a major fight to happen in Pittsburgh? Years ago, Larry Holmes fought at the Civic Arena. Yes, but to me, Luther, one of the big boys like Heinz, the Heinz Company or the Acrisure Company or one of the big companies.
We would need a local-born champ from here.
Okay.
To do it. That's the only way it would come.
Okay, just talking crazy here. Let's say that somebody put up big time money for Fury and Joe Joyce. Okay, would it pack Acrisure?
Of course. But
So
listen,
we don't need a hometown guy.
but
Because if we're waiting for a
Mario,
hometown guy, we're in
listen,
trouble.
Heinz Field didn't even buy the rights. No company around here bought the rights. A company out in Detroit
Right.
bought the rights to
Right.
the field. So I don't see. We need to have a hometown hero from here, build a name, and bring a fight back.
To play devil's advocate, all the big fights in Vegas, or there's a few in New York, but were those people from
But
Vegas?
those are legendary. They have a whole history. Our history's probably before all of us was born. The great history is before
Remember
all of
we
us
did that
were
thing in
born.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Forbes Field had LaMotta. They had all these big fights.
Right, and that's way
Way
back.
back. But they had him, Khan and all them boys, and Walcott and Ezra Charles fought here, for God's sake.
But look
I'd
how
love
long
to see
ago
a
that
big
was
fight.
black and white film, Claudio.
I know,
We
but
need
when
another-
you have the venues, like even PNC Park, you don't have to get Acrisure.
Every city has venues. You gotta have the name. We need.
Would
to
it
have
make
the
money
logo.
here?
It makes some money here. It makes some money.
I'd love to
But
see
no,
it.
I'd love
And then
to see
have
it.
the
It's not
boxing
gonna happen.
authorities cover
And
it.
Then we cover it. Then it really
We
make
cover it.
money.
I'm telling you, really. More than we're, okay, that's another story. All right. Well, Jim, once again, we hope you get better, brother. It's not the same
Come on,
without you. We
Jim.
miss you. But as always, we hope you enjoy our show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities.